The cast quartz at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London are one of the museum's most iconic and dramatic spaces. These two large halls, originally called the architectural courts, were purpose-built and opened to the public in 1873, housing massive reproductions of famous sculptures and architectural elements from around the world. These historic galleries offer a glimpse of the Victoria Museum. Entering the cast courts is like walking into the 19th century's London. The West Court features Trajan's column and a cast of modern European and Spanish works. The East Court focuses on Italian monuments and other highlights. This is The Rebellious Slave by Michelangelo. But this is a cast of the original work. This is The Dying Slave by Michelangelo, also the cast of the original work. This is David. The original statue is in Florence. If you have visited art museums in France and Italy, you must recognize some of these works. Unlike typical museum galleries filled with originals, the cast courts showcase plaster casts of renowned masterpieces. This reflects the Victorian era's ambition to educate the public and artists by bringing encyclopedic examples of global art and architecture to London, at a time when international travel was difficult and expensive. The collection embodies the V&A's founding mission as a school of design and art education. The cast courts are dominated by a massive column known as the Trajan column in two parts. In 106 AD, the Roman Emperor Trajan commissioned the original monumental structure to commemorate his conquest of Dacia, now Romania. The column took 7 years to complete and has stood in Rome ever since, surviving for nearly 2,000 years. In the early 1860s, Napoleon III ordered a plaster cast to be made of the column. In 1864, the V&A Museum bought the cast. Measuring 35 meters high, the column was too tall to fit the museum building at the time. So in 1873, the museum built the architectural courts, now the cast courts, to house the column. The height of today's courts was determined by Trajan's column. But even then, they could only be built high enough to display the column in two sections, assembled around the inner brick chimneys. The Three Graces by French Renaissance sculptor Germain Pilon is a renowned marble group, originally created around 1561. It formed the upper part of a funerary monument commissioned by Queen Catherine de' Medici to house the heart of her late husband, King Henry II of France, who died in 1559. The three mythological figures, daughters of Zeus, representing beauty, charm, and joy, stand back to back, supporting the bronze urn, now a modern replica, on their heads and raised hands. The original was destroyed during the French Revolution. The cast faithfully reproduces Pilon's elegant Mannerist style, with figures flowing drapery, intertwined poses, and expressive details, highlighting the Renaissance revival of classical themes in French sculpture. Michelangelo's David is probably the most famous sculpture in the world, reproduced countless copies, large and small. This life-size cast was a gift to Queen Victoria from the Grand Duke Leopold II of Tuscany. Michelangelo carved his David from a single block of marble. David, slayer of the giant Goliath, was a symbol of freedom for the Florentine Republic. It was used by both the Republican government and the powerful Medici family, who effectively ruled Florence. The sculpture Mercury and Psyche is displayed in the cast courts of the Victoria and Albert Museum. The sculpture depicts the Roman god Mercury, recognizable by his winged helmet and sandals, effortlessly lifting the beautiful Psyche into the air in a dramatic spiral. According to ancient Roman mythology, after Psyche completes her trials set by Venus, Jupiter grants her immortality. Mercury is sent to fetch her and carry her to Mount Olympus, where she drinks ambrosia and is reunited eternally with her lover Cupid. Created in 1593, the bronze sculpture is one of the most celebrated masterpieces by the Dutch Mannerist sculptor Adrian de Vries. It showcases several distinctive features. Mercury's dynamic pose, with one leg bent and a wing spread, conveys effortlessly flight, while Psyche's limp, graceful form emphasizes her ethereal ascent. The extreme spiraling movement invites a viewer to view it from all angles. The best way to view it is to walk around it in a circle. With incredible lightness and buoyancy, the figures appear to float despite being solid bronze. Mercury balances on just the ball of 1 foot, with only a few thin struts supporting Psyche's weight. The dynamic interplay of limbs, drapery, and wings creates a whirlwind effect. The museum acquired this plaster cast in 1865, indicating a Victorian taste for a post-Renaissance style of sculpture known as Mannerism. In the cast courts of the Victoria and Albert Museum, there are 12 relief panels. They are plaster casts of the original stone reliefs, created in the 1500s by the commissions of the French royalty, and now located in various parts of France. The V&A Museum acquired these casts in the 1880s. These extraordinary reliefs are separate but thematically related. They are among the most elegant examples of French Renaissance sculpture on display there, featuring voluptuous female allegorical figures, symbolizing themes such as nature, mythology, abundance, and fertility, popular themes in the French court, and showcasing the sculptor's mastery of refined carving. At the top is the Abundance relief, depicting the personified figure of abundance, a classical allegory of prosperity and plenty. She is typically depicted as a graceful female figure, holding a cornucopia, overflowing with fruits, grains, and other symbols of wealth and fertility, with flowing drapery and idealized Mannerist proportions. The Diana relief features hunter goddess Diana, often portrayed in a dynamic pose with attributes like a bow, quiver, or hunting motifs, accompanied by dogs in a woodland setting. Below is the Summer relief, depicting summer as a personified figure, often shown in classical style with attributes symbolizing abundance, harvest, and warmth, such as sheaves of wheat, fruits, or seasonal motifs. The 9 reliefs of water nymphs and the putti are reproductions of the originals by French sculptor Jean Goujon between 1547 and 1549. They are located in the Fountain of the Innocents in Paris, a public fountain built to commemorate royal entries and symbolizing themes of water, abundance, and renewal, featuring graceful water nymphs. The nymphs are depicted in sensuous, flowing poses with translucent drapery that clings to their bodies, evoking classical antiquity while embodying Mannerist elegance, elongated forms, refined contours, and a sense of movement. The nymphs' undulating drapery, idealized beauty, and a joyful putti convey a sensuality and a celebration of life and water. The museum displays multiple plaster casts of these panels, hung side by side on the wall in a linear arrangement rather than their original architectural context around the fountain. This setup allows close-up study of the details, which is the key purpose of the cast courts, to bring masterpieces to scholars, artists, and the public through faithful reproductions. These sculptures are magnificent. The museum's collection provided examples to inspire artists, designers, and artisans to supply better designs to Britain's factories. Spectacular displays would also shape public taste to help consumers become more discerning in their choices. Copies including plaster casts, electrotypes, and photographs were central to this mission and complemented the museum's collections of original works. Together, they offered a 19th century encyclopedia of international decorative styles. Today, the cast courts take us back in time. For Victorians, they were the height of modernity. In a period when travel was difficult, the courts brought art and architecture from around the globe together under one roof, making the world feel smaller and more connected in a way that can be compared to the dawn of the internet. A modern fascination with replication, particularly via digital media, has rekindled the relevance of these collections for visitors now. This is Moses. Michelangelo.
I know.